before the gods of Olympus ruled the heavens, before Zeus held the lightning, before mankind walked the earth, there were the Titans. They were the first divine beings, born from chaos itself, giants who shaped the world from primordial darkness. And among them, one stood tallest, Kronos, the Lord of Time, the king of the Titans. But Kronos carried a curse, a prophecy whispered by his own parents, Gaia and Uranos. Your children will overthrow you, just as you overthrew your father. Kronos refused to accept this fate. He would not fall. He would not be cast down. So when his wife Rhea bore their first child, Kronos made a choice that would echo through eternity. He swallowed the infant whole. The child's name was Hestia, goddess of the hearth. She vanished into the darkness of her father's stomach, alive but imprisoned, conscious but helpless. Rhea wept, but Kronos felt nothing, only relief. Then came Demeter, the future goddess of harvest. Kronos swallowed her too. Hera followed, queen of the gods to be, down into the abyss. Then Hades, lord of the underworld, consumed before he could draw a second breath. And finally Poseidon, god of the seas, he joined his siblings in their father's prison. Five children, five gods, all trapped in the belly of their own father. Rhea's heart shattered. She had given birth to divinity itself, only to watch each child disappear. But when her sixth child came, something in her broke, not with despair, with fury. This child would not be devoured. This child would survive. His name was Zeus. In the dead of night, Rhea fled to the island of Crete, to a cave on Mount Ida. There, surrounded by stone and shadow, she gave birth. Zeus entered the world in secret. His cries echoed only in darkness. Rhea wrapped him in cloth and gave him to the nymphs. They would raise him. They would hide him. Then she returned to Kronos with a stone, a boulder wrapped in swaddling clothes. She presented it to her husband. He barely looked. He simply opened his mouth and swallowed it whole. Years passed. Zeus grew in hiding, fed on honey from sacred bees, protected by warriors who clashed their shields to mask his cries. He learned of his siblings. He learned of the prophecy. He learned what his father had done. And he understood his purpose. When Zeus reached manhood, he descended from the mountains of Crete. He sought out Metis, the Titaness of wisdom. She gave him a potion, a mixture that would make even a Titan vomit. Zeus disguised himself as a cupbearer. He approached Kronos. He offered him wine. The king of Titans drank deeply. He suspected nothing. Then the poison took hold. Kronos convulsed. His body heaved, and from his throat came the stone, still wrapped in cloth. Then Poseidon emerged, alive, furious. Hades followed, his eyes burning with rage. Then Hera, Demeter, Hestia. All 5 gods stood before their father, freed at last, and behind them stood Zeus, the 6th child, the one who had escaped. Kronos staggered backward. He saw his children. He saw the prophecy coming true. And he called for war. The Titans assembled: Oceanus, Hyperion, Iapetus, Coeus, giants who had ruled since the dawn of creation. They marched to Mount Othrys, their fortress, their throne. And from Mount Olympus, Zeus and his siblings answered. The war for the cosmos had begun. For 10 years they fought. Lightning tore the sky. Mountains crumbled. Oceans boiled. The earth itself screamed. Titans against gods. Father against children. The old world against the new. Neither side could gain the advantage. Neither side would yield. Then Zeus remembered something, a whisper from Gaia, a secret buried deep in the earth. There were others, prisoners locked away by Kronos himself. The Hecatoncheires, 100-handed giants of unimaginable power. And the Cyclopes, master smiths who could forge weapons from stars themselves. Zeus descended into Tartarus, the deepest pit of the underworld, where even light dared not go. He found them chained, forgotten, left to rot in eternal darkness. Zeus shattered their bonds. He offered them vengeance. The Cyclopes emerged first, and they brought gifts. For Zeus, they forged a bolt of pure lightning, a weapon that could split the world. For Poseidon, a trident that could command the seas and shatter the earth. For Hades, a helm of invisibility, darkness made tangible. The Olympians now held the power of creation itself. Then came the Hecatoncheires, and with them came devastation. Each giant had 100 hands. Each hand could hurl mountains. When they joined the battle, the sky turned black with stone. Boulders fell like rain. The earth cracked open. Reality itself began to tear. The Titans faltered. For the first time, they knew fear. Kronos raised his scythe, the same weapon he had used to castrate his own father. But Zeus raised his lightning, and the heavens answered. The bolt struck with the force of a dying star. It lit the world brighter than the sun. Kronos fell. The Lord of Time broken. One by one, the Titans dropped their weapons. They had lost. Zeus stood over his father, lightning still crackling in his hand. He could have killed him. He could have erased him from existence. But death was too kind. Instead, Zeus opened the earth. He dragged the Titans down, down past the underworld, down past the rivers of the dead. To Tartarus, a prison of eternal night, where time meant nothing, where hope went to die. Kronos and his allies were chained in darkness, guarded by the Hecatoncheires. They would never escape. They would never see the sky again. And so the age of the Titans ended. Zeus and his siblings claimed Mount Olympus. They divided the world among themselves. Zeus took the sky, Poseidon the seas, Hades the underworld. The old gods had fallen, the new gods had risen. But prophecies have a way of repeating. Kronos had overthrown his father. Zeus had overthrown Kronos. And deep in Tartarus, in chains of eternal night, Kronos laughed. Because he knew the cycle was not broken. One day, Zeus too would fall. But that is a story for another time.